wanted to understand this whole profession that is called coaching. And so let's talk about some of the programs that you have that you work with your clients, not just around fear, but just your business now.
Sure, sure. So, we started out 15 years ago as a branding company. But what I love to do is culture building. And so I work with organizations and we take a look at their culture and what is the storyline that they're living as a group of people and how is that being expressed through their behaviors and through, their value sets. And what is the way of doing things that isn't written in the manuals, right? So starting to uncover that and unpack that. And then, so we'll do some coaching. Sometimes we'll do some team and peer coaching. Sometimes we'll do communications campaigns because that is my background. It's the thing about the coaching that I really enjoy is that it helps you be a better facilitator. It helps you be a better brander because you have to be curious all the time to really help people express what's going on. And if they can define it, then they can start to attack it.
And so we talked a little bit earlier that you're moving a little bit more over to community building. So let's talk about that because I love that concept.
So just in the past few weeks, actually, I went on a retreat a few weeks ago just to have that white space for myself. And I started to really understand that us women, the way we build our success is through building community, right? And so I thought maybe instead of culture building in organizations, I need to talk about community building in organizations. And that just feels really right to me. Imagine if you go into work and you go into a community, there's going to be so much more trust, so much more grace given, right? And so that's a part of the shift that I'm making now, and especially with this wall, seeing the power of community and people coming together, just trying to take that language into organizations and have them think about culture a little bit differently.
Definitely gonna have to do a whole lot of socializing of this concept, particularly when you start talking about bringing something new into organizations. I personally work in an organization that's male dominated, so you have that going on. It's not a whole lot of diversity, so you have that going on. And so you have all these moving parts that you have to look at. But that's one of the things that I do like about this whole concept of coaching, because you have organizations that now are open to having someone come in, an outsider, if you will, to look at things, to say, hey, I think that you all could benefit from this or you could benefit from that. And that's the power of the profession and how it's gaining momentum. And so, coupled with, the leadership circle and all these other assessments, people are really being transformed in the workplace, which is not something that has happened, in a normal cycle or a normal environment. This is something new. So what do you think about this whole new wave of coaching, particularly as it relates to some of these organizations that are, as I have described?
I think there is a lot of hope in some leaders in the field. So Capital One has an incredible coaching program, and they have for years. PricewaterhouseCoopers just launched an internal coaching program. And so I think when some businesses start to see the leaders value coaching and what it can bring to the organization, I think you're going to see it be more prevalent and more accepted. With this Leadership 360 assessment, I have to say, I've never taken a 360 because I was terrified of the feedback. And the coaching program actually helped me grow enough so that I could have feedback like that. And it really was the feedback and that negative feedback that made me be such a bigger person, right? And so, I think that maybe my personal story can help leaders say, okay, well, I think I'm doing pretty well, but what if there was one thing I could work on? And what could that be? And how could I be an even better leader?
Yeah, and that's important because, we spend so much time at work, and you want to go to work and you want to, not have a good time, but you don't want it to be hostile. And so I find that, leaders have to be open to the coaching. They have to be open to the feedback. At work, I am the president of a group of women who are a part of Federally Employed Women. It's a larger national organization. And so I send out daily quotes. And so one of the quotes this morning that I sent out was from Hillary Clinton. And she said, "Take criticism seriously, but not personally." And so that's something that's very important when you start doing the 360s, because I remember when we had a coach at our job and we started getting the feedback from the 360s and the assessments, and people were just, you need a whole session just to deal with the feedback and how to deal with the feedback.
Yes. But I think the tip is to be curious. So to say, okay, that's wrong, I'm not like that, and then you just stop yourself and say, well, let me just be curious about that for a little bit. I wonder what it was that made people respond like that. I wonder what it was that made me respond like that, because the 360, one of the greatest things is that you have a self-evaluation, right? And so it allows you to see yourself through an entirely different lens. So I think that that focus in on being really curious is the key to accepting the feedback.
Yeah.